Have you ever felt like your emotions are a storm you can't control? One moment, you're riding a wave of unstoppable energy and creativity, and the next, you're overwhelmed by exhaustion and despair. Imagine experiencing this storm not as an adult with years of experience, but as a teenager trying to figure out who you are. Growing up with bipolar disorder as a teen is a journey few understand, and even fewer talk about. But today, we're opening that conversation here on Bipolar Talks. We'll explore the raw, real experience of being diagnosed young, how it shapes identity, relationships, and dreams, and most importantly, how to live mindfully with this condition. What happens when your world flips between the highs of mania and the lows of depression, all while you're just trying to figure out who you are? In this episode, we explore what it's like to be diagnosed as a teen, the impact on friendships, school, and self-identity, the role of family and stigma, how early diagnosis can be both a challenge and a path to understanding, coping strategies and messages of hope. Before we dive in, take a slow, deep breath. If this episode touches your life, your heart, or your mind, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Your voice matters in building this community of understanding and support. Let's begin this mindful exploration together. The teenage years are often described as a storm of hormones, emotions, and identity searching. But for teens diagnosed with bipolar disorder, the storm is literal and much more intense. The emotional roller coaster. Normal adolescent mood swings are common and part of growing up. However, bipolar disorder mood episodes are far more severe and disruptive. These include mania or hypomania, episodes of unusually elevated mood, energy, and activity. During mania, teens may feel euphoric, grandiose, and invincible. They might talk fast, sleep very little, and engage in risky behaviors. Hypomania is a milder form but still significantly different from normal mood. Depression. Episodes characterized by intense sadness, hopelessness, and lack of energy or motivation. Teens may withdraw socially, have trouble concentrating, or even experience thoughts of death or suicide. These shifts don't just affect mood, they impact thinking, behavior, and the very way a teen interacts with the world. Identity confusion. Teenagers are already figuring out, who am I? A bipolar diagnosis adds layers of complexity. Many wonder, is this my real personality or just my illness? Will I always feel this way? What does this mean for my future? This confusion can breed shame and isolation, especially when peers or adults misunderstand what's happening. The challenge of mislabeling. Unfortunately, behaviors stemming from bipolar symptoms often get mislabeled. Teens might be called moody or dramatic, lazy or unmotivated during depressive episodes, disruptive or reckless during manic episodes. This misunderstanding leads to stigma and missed opportunities for early intervention. The path to diagnosis. Bipolar disorder often starts quietly, sometimes mistaken for depression or anxiety. Many teens get diagnosed only after a manic or mixed episode disrupts their lives. Diagnosis typically involves detailed clinical interviews with the teen and family, observation of mood patterns over time, ruling out other causes like substance use or medical conditions. This process can take months or years. For teens, waiting for answers is frustrating and scary. Emotional impact of diagnosis. Getting the diagnosis of bipolar disorder as a teen is a double-edged sword. Relief. Finally having a name for their experiences helps many feel validated and understood. It opens doors to treatment and support. Fear and uncertainty. The diagnosis can feel overwhelming. What does it mean for my life? Will I be sick forever? Can I trust myself? The family dynamic. Families often experience a mix of relief and grief at diagnosis. Parents may feel guilt or blame, worrying if they did something wrong. Teens may struggle with the idea of being different or dependent on medication. Family support or lack thereof significantly impacts how teens cope moving forward. To better understand, let's look at Isla, diagnosed at 16 with bipolar I disorder. Before my diagnosis, I thought I was just too much. Teachers called me disruptive. My friends said I was weird. When I got manic, I didn't sleep for days. I felt like I could do anything, start a company, be a star. But then the crash came. I was so low I stopped talking to anyone, even my family. When the doctor finally said bipolar, I was scared. Would this define me forever? Could I still have a normal life? Isla's story reflects a common path. Brilliant highs followed by devastating lows, confusion, and fear. But with support and treatment, Isla has learned to manage her symptoms, advocate for herself, and pursue her dreams on her own terms. Medication, a lifeline, not a cure. For most teens diagnosed with bipolar disorder, medication becomes a key part of managing symptoms. Common medications include mood stabilizers like lithium, atypical antipsychotics, sometimes antidepressants, carefully managed. It's important to emphasize that medications don't cure bipolar disorder, but help balance mood and reduce episode frequency and intensity. The challenge of adherence. Taking medication daily can feel like a burden, especially for teens eager to feel normal or afraid of side effects. Family support, education, and open communication with doctors are critical. Psychotherapy and support. Therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or family-focused therapy help teens learn coping skills, manage stress, and communicate better. Support groups or peer connections can reduce isolation. Academic challenges. Bipolar symptoms can disrupt concentration, memory, and energy levels, making schoolwork harder. During manic phases, impulsive decisions can lead to conflicts. During depressive phases, motivation may disappear. Disclosure and accommodation. Deciding whether to tell teachers or peers about bipolar is deeply personal. Some teens benefit from formal accommodations, like extra time on tests or flexible deadlines. Friendships and social acceptance. Friendships can be both a lifeline and a source of stress. Teens may struggle with misunderstandings or rejection due to mood swings or stigma. Parental roles. Parents often juggle supporting independence while monitoring symptoms. Open, non-judgmental communication is key. Siblings' experiences. Siblings may feel neglected or confused. Family counseling can help. Romantic relationships. Teens with bipolar may experience intense, unstable romantic relationships influenced by mood swings. Education and communication help build healthy connections. Fighting stigma. Teens face stigma both from others and themselves. Internalized stigma can worsen symptoms. Embracing identity beyond diagnosis. Encouraging teens to see bipolar disorder as one part of their story, not the whole, fosters resilience. Stories of success. Many adults with bipolar thrive in careers, relationships, and creativity. Tools for mindful living. Practices like mindfulness meditation, regular routines, and self-care help stabilize mood. Thank you for joining us today on Bipolar Talks. If this episode spoke to you or helped you understand a loved one better, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. You never know who might need to hear this. And if you're a teen navigating bipolar, remember, you are more than your diagnosis. You are worthy of love and support. Your story is still being written. Disclaimer: this YouTube podcast is for informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a licensed mental health expert for any medical or psychological concerns. Stay safe, stay mindful, and stay connected.